Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Tonight we have a early impression video on a Feel Oud fragrance. Now, Feel Oud is a house, if you're not aware, it's basically a combination of Aries Ladore and Dmitry Bortnikov working together. And so for the longest time, Russian Adam basically told me on one of my interviews I did with him that he was very, very strict, that he didn't want to be influenced by even his good friend in Oud distiller Dmitry Bortnikov's work. And so he did his thing and Dmitry did his thing. And so while at a conference, apparently one of my brothers who is a subscriber to the channel, I believe it was Muhammad, but there was a comment he left on my channel that said that Dmitry Bortnikov told him that Dmitry himself was the one who created Oud Balsam, which I have a review on. You can go check it out. Oud Balsam reminds me a lot of Tabak Dore, which makes a lot of sense if Dmitry Bortnikov was the perfumer of this one. And the other fragrance that I've been sniffing and absolutely loving lately, and it's time I reviewed, is this little bad boy, and it's called Oud de Grand. So Oud de Grand, and I'm going to do a review of Sunrise and Set very soon as well. So Oud de Grand, Dmitry Bortnikov told him, is a Russian Adam creation. Now, I cannot speak to the truth or validity of those claims, but I can tell you that Oud Balsam feels like Tabak Dore. I said that in my initial review. And Oud de Grand is a fragrance that actually, it's interesting because I never thought I would like a fragrance like Oud de Grand. It wasn't really seen as my style, but Oud de Grand has this amazing natural jasmine smell that you just don't get nowadays. And we'll talk a little bit about the way that the fragrance opens up and works and feels on your skin. But the rundown basically for Oud de Grand, and this is what the bottles look like. I think I showed you already, but they look like this. They're 30 ml bottles, and all three are still available on the Feel Oud website. It's basically feel-oud.com. So they've got the magnetic cap, and I actually really like the presentation. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Gucci Pour Homme bottles, the first version of Gucci Pour Homme. So if you want to check out my review of Oud de Grand, you can go watch that. But today we're going to focus on, if you want to go watch my review of Oud Balsam, you can go check that out. So today we're going to focus on Oud de Grand, which is $350 for 30 mils on the Feel Oud website, which is feel-oud, okay? And basically the description says, exceptional, unique, and luxurious Floriental oud composition that consists of around 50% pure natural Thai oud oil, which is an insane amount, by the way, with a gourmand and delicious scent profile, perfectly balanced with the rarest type of distilled jasmine grandiflorum and sprinkled with a touch of pink pepper on top. Enjoy the beauty of the rarest natural ingredients used in abundance to achieve the most extraordinary aroma. That's the breakdown. And so the notes, according to the little card insert, which came with, as I just threw it, excuse me while I go get that. Don't ask me why I felt like throwing that. And now, of course, I can't find it. Ah, here it is. It was trying to hide on me. Okay, so the notes, let's try this again, shall we? The notes say bitter orange, lemon, cardamom, magnolia, vetiver, cedar, patchouli, Indian oud, and orris accord on top of the exceptional, unique, and luxurious composition consisting of 50% pure natural Thai oud oil with the gourmand twist and the big jasmine grandiflorum note. And so this fragrance opens up with sort of like a resinous oud. So Thai oud is not the stinky animalic barnyard fecal oud. It's none of that. Thai oud is usually sort of resinous, slightly fruity. You know, it has different facets to it, and you get that resinous, but a very fluffy, uplifting opening to me, because the jasmine note, very natural smelling jasmine, comes in. And there's a lot of talk in the community, of course, about rose ouds. A lot of people talk about rose oud, saffron. That kind of trio is very common, but less people talk about the jasmine oud combination. And I have reviewed a couple of jasmine ouds on the channel. Zerjov did one called Alkat, which I've reviewed. You can go check that out. And for my money, okay, the jasmine ouds that I've smelled, this is the best. Absolute, hands down, the best one that I've smelled so far. Oud de Grand is a amazing contrast basically between four sort of concepts. Think of it like a square, okay? Think Foursquare when you were a kid, right? So whenever the ball comes to your square, you have to push it to someone else's square, right? And so there's this constant movement of the ball, right? It's never too much on one side or too much on the other because the ball is always constantly going between these four squares, right? And so the four squares in this are, on one side, you have very heavy doses of Thai Oud in here, extremely heavy Thai Oud, and you can feel it. It feels slightly, just ever so slightly dirty, just a little bit, and that may be, excuse me, a little bit of the Indian Oud in here. But you can feel on one side of it, you have that very heavy concentrated Thai Oud, contrasted with just a little bit of that Indian Oud to give it a little bit of that fecal quality, just a little bit of this animalic quality, let's say. Maybe fecal isn't a good word, but a little bit of funk underneath, just a bit, but it works beautifully. And then on the other side, you have this very heavy sort of jasmine grandiflorum, and contrasted to that, you have a touch of this sort of fresher, spicier white floral jasmine, you know, very vibrant. It sort of just jumps off of the skin. This is a very heavy fragrance on the senses, okay? It's like you can really sense this fragrance, and it wears very heavy, and I like that about it. So jasmine grandiflorum, if you're not aware, that's kind of the jasmine that has a very rich sort of honey indolic scent profile, okay? And there's something very soft and fluffy contrasting this very heavy, honeyed, indolic jasmine scent profile in this scent. And so you kind of get a little bit of both, but that jasmine grandiflorum note just steals the show. It's so beautiful, and sometimes, you know, I just have to put my personal feelings aside, right? And you just almost have to just stand in awe at the beauty of a perfume, even if it's not to your taste, right? Sometimes you have to kind of play, like I've said in previous videos, Switzerland. You have to play the umpire. You have to be fair. Even if you're rooting for one team or another, you have to be fair. And this is one where I kind of really have to put some of my taste aside and just enjoy the beauty of the jasmine note in here. It is actually, if you've only smelled jasmines in designer perfumes or even some niche perfumes, you will never have smelled a jasmine like this. This is unlike any jasmine I've smelled outside of artisanal perfumery, because I don't think the big houses are using this quality of jasmine oil. It's impossible for them to give this soft, fluffy sort of jasmine feel. It's not here. It's not in the cards anymore. Okay, and so this scent. This is how I imagine this scent. Just imagine walking through a field of jasmine, and the jasmine just goes on as far as the eye can see, right? Rows and rows of jasmine planted. And these bumblebees are trying to collect the pollen from the jasmine. But the pollen is so heavy because of this honeyed feel, and I know it doesn't work that way, but just stay with me. So the jasmine pollen that they're collecting is so heavy because that's the way that it smells. It smells like this heavy honeyed jasmine, indolic slightly as well. And very gourmand take on jasmine. And the honey, as the bees collect it, it weighs them down. So when they fly back to the hive, it's like they're flying back crooked, or they're off kilter flying back, okay? They're being weighed down. That's the sort of, because they're loaded up with all this this pollen, and crooked from the weight. And then just imagine this man, okay, who on one hand, he just dumped an entire attar of Thai Oud on one wrist, and on the other wrist, he was going to dump an entire attar of Indian Oud, but he spilled it. So all he was able to do is put a drop or two. So you have just an entire attar of Thai Oud just running down this hand, and just the tiniest drop of Indian Oud here. And he's just walking in this jasmine field, right? Just walking in the jasmine field. And so he's walking through this field of jasmine, and what I would recommend to really get a grasp on some of the materials is to go watch my Russian Atom interview part 2 again. I know I've talked about some of the interviews that I've done on the channel and how they're some of the best things I've ever put up, but if you're newer to the channel and you haven't gone and watched my interviews with the perfumers themselves. In particular, Russian Adam interview part 2, we talk about these materials in detail. And he mentions many times that sort of the cheaper absolutes, because they're cheaper to produce, are what are commonly used nowadays. And sometimes you don't get a very good scent profile smelling the absolutes. And he was saying there's some houses that, or some places that think jasmine essential oil is basically a myth nowadays, that it's a mythical ingredient, that it doesn't exist anymore. And maybe for the houses that need to use huge amounts, that's true. But what Russian Adam sent me here is actual essential oil of jasmine grandiflorum, and I'm gonna dip in a Riche Ladore blotter in here because he sent me these, and I just want you to look at this and just look at the color of that. Look at that. It is absolutely beautiful. This is, oh my God. So it just, no matter what you think of jasmine as a note, okay? Even if jasmine is your arch nemesis, I'm telling you, this is one of the most beautiful things you will ever smell, because this is completely different from the white florals that you usually smell in most perfume. Most white florals that pass as jasmine smell nothing like this at all. They don't have anywhere near the depth of this. And the closest thing that I've ever smelled to this is Oud de Grand. And so for me, it's almost intoxicating, yeah? With that honeyed indolic jasmine, that slightly soft, slightly fluffy, slightly airy, slightly white floral, but man, the depth of this is unlike any jasmine I've ever smelled before. And you get that here, but imagine it being mixed with that resinous oud, slightly lacquered oud. When I say lacquered, I don't mean liquor. I mean imagine like a lacquered piece of wood, like a woody station wagon from back in the day, right? How they used to have that wood paneling on the side. There's something to the Thai oud here that gives a little bit of that. And of course you get a little bit of the spices. Before I mentioned the pink pepper that is used to kind of add a little bit of an uplifting quality, maybe a little cardamom, magnolia, a little bit of vetiver, a little bit of orris, but mostly it's those 4 squares that I talked about. The heavy indolic jasmine over here, the lighter, fluffier jasmine over here, the heavy in Thai oud over here, the little bit tiniest touch of Indian oud over there, and it just works. I mean, even though this is not, if I wanted to create a scent for me, right, this is not the scent that I would create. No way. This would be probably last on the list. But the execution of this scent, if Russian Adam really made this scent, it is absolutely stunning, beautiful. Huge fan of Oud de Grand. In fact, if anyone wants to trade me their bottle of Oud de Grand for Oud Balsam, I'll make that trade right now. I've worn this once. And so, or twice, or whatever it was, once or twice. So I would make that trade right now, hands down. If anyone wants to swap Oud de Grand for Oud Balsam, I would swap my bottle right now. Even though I guess Oud de Grand is a little bit more expensive, but if it's not your thing, Oud Balsam is $300, Oud de Grand is $350, Sunrise and Set is $250. They're all still available on the Field-Oud website. Again, it's field-oud.com. And there is a sample set for $45, which, it's not cheap, but I would urge you to try to sample these. I was not too kind to Oud Balsam, but it's not because Oud Balsam was a bad scent necessarily. It was because I thought Tabak Dore was a better scent for me. Like, I would have rather bought a bottle of Tabak Dore, to be honest with you, which I could have got for right around the same price. And so this was a blind buy, but for me, I think Tabak Dore is a better fragrance. This is maybe a fragrance that would work better for somebody who's a beginner, because it's sweeter, it's softer, everything is more rounded. Tabak Dore has more of the depth of pure tobacco. Tobacco Absolute is a very complex note. There's so many different things going on. It goes in so many different directions, and I feel like it's muted here. This is a sweeter, more resinous take, and maybe that's some of the 100-year-old Thai oud that they say in here. I don't know, but I think I prefer Tabak Dore, and so that's why I was so hard on this, is I wanted something different and new, and this felt like a little bit of a repeat, a retread. I wanted something different, something new. So it's not that Oud Balsam is a bad scent. I was just expecting more, if that makes sense. But Oud de Grand, even though it goes into a direction that you wouldn't think I would like, I have to, again, put my referee hat on and just be neutral and say that it is honestly, probably as far as a category goes, oh God, the actual Jasmine Grandiflorum is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Impossible to describe. Impossible to describe that floral honey jasmine like this in an essential oil form like this. It is out of this world. Out of this world. And you get that here. And so I have to kind of say, if a jasmine oud is a category, just like rose oud is a category, I think that, for me, Oud de Grand is probably the best I've ever smelled, because it does it in such a competent, perfect fashion where it captures the Thai oud. You get that, resinous Thai oud that's slightly fruity at times, and then you get the perfect Jasmine Grandiflorum execution in here. And yes, maybe it's traditionally feminine. I would have no problem wearing this. Not at all. No problem wearing this at all. Because that oud and spices just balance it out, And I think on a confident man, this type of scent profile would be an absolute hit with people out there. It's not too funky, with the masses, let's say. It's not too funky. There's a little bit of funk. They would probably be very intrigued why you're wearing your grandmother's perfume from 100 years ago. Is probably what they would think. But I think it's amazing. I'm a big fan of Oud de Grand. Again, anyone wants to swap me my Oud Balsam for your Oud de Grand, do let me know. But sunrise and set review coming up very soon as well. So thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, the feedback. If you've smelled some of these Feel Oud fragrances, do let me know. Leave a comment. I love the interaction with you guys. If you smelled Oud de Grand or Oud Balsam, let me know what you think. So cheers, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.